Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. It is so nice to see you all, people from Estonia and Berlin and LA. LA, Liz, it's early there. Thank you for joining us. We got someone from Durham, North Carolina. Oh, lovely this time of year. I was just in Charlotte recently. Love it. Montpelier, France. I'm mispronouncing that. I'm so sorry. Y'all, it's so nice to see you. Hey, Craig from Toronto. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. I'm really excited about today. This is going to be such a great live stream because we get to explore what I have been referring to as the all new Confluence, because like everything I've always wanted, everything we do in Confluence is about collaboration. It's about getting things done as a team. And Confluence now, more than ever before, is positioned to be a tool for every team. And when I think of a tool for every team, like I tend to kind of think about does anybody remember WordPerfect? That was like pre-Word, or kind of like right around that time. WordPerfect was like the first word processor, right? And lots of people used WordPerfect. And then I remember, I don't remember it specifically, but I've read in history books all about when this thing came out from Microsoft called Word. And the WordPerfect users were just not happy about this thing. And then slowly Word just became the thing, the tool, right? And email has become the tool in so many ways. And then, now we have these tools like Teams and Slack. And I think like the first time I used Confluence, I was like, oh, wow. This is more than just a doc tool. This is so much more. And today I feel like this is another one of those moments where it's like, oh, whoa. Okay, this is a new conversation completely. Y'all from Sacramento and San Diego, thank you for joining everybody from California. Lance and Pam, I'm sure y'all are looking lovely is it 6 a.m. right now? My goodness. Thank you for joining everybody. All right. A couple of housekeeping things you should know about, and I should find where my housekeeping things are. Where did I tuck those? Oh, there they are. Cute. All right. First of all, in the chat, you will find Mixmaster Stefan, who is there to answer questions, share resources, what have you. Also, you will find Tina and Dustin from Atlassian, who are also in the live chat to have a good time and maybe even answer your questions. So, it's 7. All right. Liz and Robert, or Lance and Liz, no problem. It's 7. That's so easy. No, thank you so much for joining us. So yes, check it out. If you have a question, please use #question in the chat when you add it, just so that can help us with our highly advanced system of identifying questions so that we can answer as many of them live as absolutely possible. Also, please do hit that like button right now. That tells the algorithm that the live stream is happening and people are happy. And whether you're happy or not, please hit the button and we'll work toward the happiness. That's kind of the goal. Also, if you would subscribe to the channel, that would be fantastic. Also, just like before we begin, I don't know if you knew this, but we also write a weekly Confluence newsletter where we are sharing the latest Confluence news as well as opinion pieces and best practice pieces. We write it every week and we send it out every week, and I would love to send it to you. Stefan's going to drop a link to sign up for the newsletter in your inbox. It is not spam. If it is spam, you can email me directly and tell me this is spam and garbage and I don't want it. And I'll cry a little, but then I'll do better. But please check out the newsletter because we work really hard on it, and it's the newsletter I want to see in the world. All right, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce the real star here, and it is not Confluence. I know you all are thinking it's Confluence, but y'all, it's actually Avi, our star PM from the Confluence team, joining us yet again. Avi, it's so nice to have you here.
It's wonderful to be here again, and I mean, everybody knows that you're the star, and behind me, or beside me, there are hundreds of PMs, designers, engineers making this happen. So I'm really just a messenger today. Thank you for having me on.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Avi is standing on the shoulders of giants, for sure. That's the way product teams work, and that's the way Confluence works, right? It's been around, but also we get to benefit from all the new things. So That's what we're here to talk about today. So, Avi, I mentioned like a huge focus on collaboration. And there's been a lot of changes in Confluence, both like visually and functionally. And I feel like there's so much to talk about, but I guess I'm curious, how long would you say the team has been working on some of the things we're going to look at here today?
Wow, great question. There's a lot of moving pieces. I would say some of them from inception and trying to make them happen have been in the work for, several months to maybe over a year at times, to make sure to move things in the right direction. So, yeah, some of these things have been in the works for quite a while. And like I said, you'll see there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of coordination to make sure that it all feels like one single coherent experience.
All right. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. All right. Would you please show us Confluence? Like what does it look like? And
Yeah,
what is different? What am I looking at here?
absolutely. So I'm assuming you can see my screen already.
I can.
So this is my personal space, nothing to write home about, content-wise. But the things you'll notice at a glance, and we can go deeper into each one of them. So first and foremost, you'll notice the new navigation, which is not just the Confluence thing. This is across Jira and Atlassian as a whole. So this is a really big change. So you'll kind of notice the expanding sidebar looks a little different. And you'll notice like the top navigation has become very, very clean. All of the kind of global items are here in the top left as opposed to in the top ribbon. So it's really about like search, using AI, being able to find what you want as quickly as you can. And a big emphasis here that you'll see across the board is just cleaning up a lot of the clutter so it's really easy to find what you need to do your work. So you'll see things like some of the things that you probably go to the most and other things around teams, drafts, and obviously just a visual redesign. So as we go through this experience, you'll just see like different iconography, typography. A lot of things are just looking cleaner, fresher, kind of like modernized. The next piece, and this is probably one of the biggest areas that we're going to go through, is you'll see that there's a new kind of floating action bar here, which is also part of the kind of revamped comments experience. And the idea again is to take a lot of the clutter out of the header and really keep the experience clean for focus. So this new toolbar will actually show actions based on what's available. So I'll be able to see details of the page in this new side panel. And
Okay.
I'll be able to make different configurations too. But also, this then becomes the new comments panel. So as opposed to seeing the comments kind of like bubble like they used to over like the actual text, which can still exist, you'll actually see them in like an orderly fashion here, including page comments with like very easy to see threading, and we can demo that in just a bit.
Okay. Oh my God.
So there's more and more and more. I can keep going, or you can stop me, and like we can talk about things as we go through it.
So I guess one thing that I wanted to just call out is these nav changes that Avi is highlighting. You will also see nav changes on the Jira side of things. So the team has looked globally at navigation across all of the major Atlassian apps that we use. So this is not just we wanted to change the coat of paint, so to speak. This is like a whole re-envisioning of the products based on the way, like teams collaboration workflows, which I think is really important to note. I would guess there have been a lot of stats and a lot of research sessions that have gone into all of this. And I just have to say, for those of us who are content tree nerds, somehow they made it clearer to read the items in the content tree by increasing the weight of the font, but also it's more dense somehow. So people used to complain all the time about like, no, it's you've spread it out too much. It's not optimized. I can't see enough, and it's actually you can see more in it. So for those of you who are like, I want more content in my content tree, you can have your cake and eat it too. It's so beautiful. So I would say, like, for me, this is all sort of well and good. It looks fantastic. It looks fresh. Can you show just briefly, Avi, like the global nav? How can I customize that to make it work for me?
Yeah. So like I showed, there's some default items here, whether it's like recent, start, spaces, etc. If you click more, you'll see other what we call like global items like teams and drafts. And all you have to do is click on customize bar. And if I want to change anything, I can just move it around and say, apps are more important. My key 15 apps are like the top thing.
Of course.
Be able to find my spaces, and my drafts are actually more important because that's how I kind of get back to my work. And then save, and you're done.
Okay, this is really awesome to me because for me, I recognize that many users are really looking to make Confluence their own because they have a specific workflow. And it depends on the type of team you're in, the type of spaces you use, the type of apps that you use in those spaces. And I think this is the beginning of like, hey, I can make Confluence work for me and customize those items in the nav. Like maybe teams don't matter to me that much, so I'm going to hide them. Or I really need to access teams because I'm a project manager and I'm working with 14 different teams. That's super important to me. I'm really excited about this because up until this point, Confluence was the Confluence UI was Confluence UI, and the only time I've seen people change it is with horrible hackery that no human should have to do. And we're just normal people, right? We're just normal people trying to collaborate. So just so everybody knows, the visual refresh stuff, so like typography, iconography, colors, that's all out. That was rolled out in January. And GA for the navigation changes, so like all the stuff on the left side bar, the content tree, all of that, that will start. Well, actually, it started yesterday to free and paid editions, and then that will be phased out or rolled out through July 7th. So Avi, talk to me a little bit more about this floating action bar, because I feel like I'm seeing in here that some of these things are actually things that were in the more menu or that like 3-dot menu thing. Like, what's the connection between those things?
Yes, that's a very astute observation. So part of cleaning up the entire header, as you can see, is like it's extremely simplified now, and I'll create a document in just a second. We can kind of see that too. But you'll generally notice that things have been cleaned up. So the floating action bar is where primary actions, which will impact the contents of a document, will be presented. So let's say you have access to Loom, that'll be here. Let's say you have automations, that'll be here, and other things as well. Like I said, obviously comments and page analytics as well. And then other things which are considered more secondary based on, like you pointed out earlier, a lot of research, a lot of customer interviews, a lot of data, are things that don't really need to exist here and kind of always be present. The idea is that the actions here are like very, very primary and frequent. So you'll see like start space is now in here. Settings for watching is now kind of broken out more granularly. So I can break it out based on like content, blog posts are all content here. Version history is here as well. Of course, we will not forget apps, which is accessible here as well. And then other actions, which are not as often, but still important, right? So like copy, move, export, and archive. And I'm showing you also like, this is my space overview. So if we just kind of go to a page, this will look a little different. So you'll kind of notice this is like a test page. You'll notice how my action bar is dynamic. So now I can react from it.
Ooh.
I can record a loop from it. I can obviously leave feedback to the wonderful product team. But you'll also see that this is also dynamic as well. So star, watch settings, obviously presenter mode, automations now exist here instead of in the main bar. And like I said, like automations, if there's something active, will dynamically appear in the floating action bar. And then you'll see more actions here, copy, move. We'll talk about this one in a sec. The ability to convert a page to a live doc, which is going to be our next topic, or a folder or a blog. And in the future, converting content types to each other. And then exporting has its own home, and then archiving as well.
And you mentioned with automations that if one is active, you'll see it in the floating action bar. So does that mean, like, if I have a manually triggered automation, then I'll see the little the automation button appear in there?
Yes, it will dynamically identify that, and then it will appear here, because we want to make sure that whatever appear here is purely actionable and doesn't feel like, hey, we want you to use this thing because you can. So it needs to have actionability from a principal perspective.
Oh, I love this. Okay. All right. Floating action bar kind of has my heart because the more menu, I feel like the more menu really feels like more now. Like the floating action bar has what I want. Martin just pointed out they do not have the floating action bar yet. It's rolling out, Martin. It is a long and, well, not a long process, but it is a rolling, moving process. That's how things work in the SaaS world. We're giving you a nice preview of what to expect in the past. And it depends on the edition your team is working on. Yeah. Hi, friend from Barcelona. That sounds lovely. I'm missing Barcelona. I want to go to team already in Barcelona. Avi, this details panel that you've pulled up, this is also like I'm seeing labels here. And I have seen labels in different places in the past. Is this where labels lives now? Like, what is the purpose of the details panel? What does this do for us?
Yeah, so it's really about taking like all these disparate attributes, properties, and like all these things that you can connect to a document. And instead of them being just spread out across the document and not really knowing where to use it, having them in a single area that's kind of repeatable and predictable. So as I want to go through views, I can go through here. It'll take me to page analytics. If I go back to here, I can change the status of the page. There's none here, but I can update it through the byline. And then here I can add labels. Right? So it starts to become like a more single kind of area where I can make all these different changes, including changing the page owner. So the idea, again, is like there used to be a lot of noise also around the byline. And if you'll notice, the byline starts to become a lot cleaner. And then progressive, as information gets introduced, it can then get added to here. So an example would be is I can love this page. That'll go here. I can do the same thing from here, right? So it kind of all starts to connect together more contextually.
Okay, first of all, thank you, whoever put reactions at the top of the page. It's so nice to see them there. I also like, is the length of reading time indicator, is that new? Or have I not seen that before? Like, that's just, it's so helpful to me. What that actually tells me is, do I need to go down to the Atlassian Intelligence button and hit summarize, summarize page? That's so helpful. Did I also see in the details panel, there was a word count or a character count in there?
Yeah. So in there is creator, there's length, which
is not being calculated in edit mode for some reason.
No, here we go.
There it is. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is like, these are the small things that every person on every team is just like, it's perfect. I need to know this. I need to, like, when I'm writing social posts in Confluence, as an example, I need to know how many words are in there. Another thing to point out, if Avi was using apps in this space, in the byline, those have been cleaned up a bit as well. The purpose of the byline is going to be to show some of the statuses for your different apps and the kind of important metadata that you need to know. And that will show, I think, 4 items, and then it actually expands. So if you're using a lot of apps and there's a lot of byline items, you'll be able to kind of expand that list and see them all below the reactions and everything here. You also can see the page stats here and very quickly see the analytics on how the page is behaving. This page just doesn't have any right now. That's not why they're showing up, because it's contextually aware. It knows if there's information there you should see. So there are some great questions. Thank you, Tina, for clarifying. This is part of an open beta. I should be clear. This is part of an open beta that opened yesterday, and it's through April 7th, and your admin can sign up for bringing in these visual improvements into your Confluence so you can see them. And as Avi pointed out, use that megaphone button to give the team feedback. I've talked to members on the Confluence design team, and they are so receptive here. Like, first of all, the amount of thought that's been put into all of this is insane. This is not a coat of paint treatment. This is we're building a tool for how teams collaborate change. In fact, so many of these changes at K15T, we have heard our users ask for these for years. And it's just like, oh yeah, now there's just a word count. We knew you wanted it. We got you. We're right there. Avi, we've been looking at a page right here, but one of the new and very exciting pages or changes is actually a new content type coming to Confluence. As Christian just pointed out in the chat, live docs. Can we look at a live doc? What is a live doc?
And by the way, just to make sure for the admins out there, if you haven't seen the option yet to opt in to all these changes, don't worry. You're going to get email, and there's also going to be in-product prompts once it's available for your site that you can just follow, and it'll take you exactly to where you need to opt in. So, live docs. If we go to the Create menu, we'll see a new option right at the top called Live Doc. And by the way, this will exist in the contextual create as well as the inline creation, so you can do this from anywhere. So we'll just focus on the global create for now. So we'll create a live doc. And the main difference between a live doc and page is that you'll notice is that there's no more publish button. So these are, as they're called, immediately live. They're indexable. They appear in the content tree. My content tree here is a mess, but that means that they're open by default.
Mm-hmm.
And they are a lot more familiar and kind of designed for fast, quick collaboration, where you can either use it, as a way to still maintain sources of truth, but it's a lot more conducive of collaboration, speed, lightweight, and you can just see there's no need to publish this at any time. And if you want to share with your colleagues, we'll talk in a sec about the new share dialog. You'll see kind of like this updated header, or I can add like cool stuff to my title, and we can say demo, and then as I start typing in information, I can mention me, and the difference is, like, as soon as I mention somebody, the notification will go out, and there's logic on the back end of this that as soon as pages get edited, it maintains all the notifications and the page version history, just like a page does. There's, like I said, some back-end logic where it knows how to take a snapshot and understand who's made the changes, it's send the right notifications, so none of that gets lost. So the collaboration just keeps on happening. Like I said, it is fully collaborative and just live.
This is like blowing my mind a little in a few different ways. So first of all, and we've had lots of comments from Dave, Barb, Christian in the comments saying, like, I don't want a live doc because I want to work on a page and publish it when it's done. And the cool thing is you can still do that. That's what pages are for. I think the huge thing here is this is like, and I think everyone has had these instances where it's like, hey, we need to quickly document this process that we've been doing. We don't need a whiteboard because we already know how the process works. We just literally need to, like, maybe napkin in a restaurant style, just work on it together really quickly. That's what a live doc is for. It's for that work where you're collaborating so quickly that things like version control, it's not a huge deal. Or yeah, if you're doing some AI powered writing where it's just like, hey, let's just get this together really, really quickly. That's what live docs are for. And the cool thing is, oh my gosh, that was so fast. The cool thing is you can quickly convert back and forth. So you can say, this live doc, we've worked on this for 2 weeks. We've finalized this initial draft of the process. Now we're going to convert this to a published page. In both cases, you have a history of the changes, which is really important. But then you can kind of lock that down and say, this is now official. Now this is a page. Another thing that I noticed is in the spot where like there's typically an edit button for pages, there's a toggle to turn off editing. So like if your team has just kind of made a quick collaborative live doc, like maybe you're just like, hey, here's where you put in your birthday present ideas so the team knows what to buy you. You could just turn off editing so you're not like fat fingering changing somebody's, their chia pets, or I'm trying to think, what do people put on birthday lists? I have bad ideas. This is why I need my colleagues to make birthday lists for themselves. I think that editing button there is so great because then it's like, oh, I could quickly jump in and change this, but I don't need to, right? It could just be still that view only thing. And the fact that things are happening instantaneously. So I can @mention Avi, and he's immediately going to get, or semi-immediately going to get a notification. So in a lot of ways, the commenting becomes almost like a live chat thread that you can use as you're interacting because those are being seen immediately, which I think is really, really interesting. Really quick, Avi, I had a question from Barb a bit ago. With the changes to the content tree, do we still see drafts in the content tree, or are they just in that drafts section? I think they are visible in both.
Them in the content tree.
Yeah, that's important.
So yeah, you can see them here, and then if there's a draft, then they'll have this lozenge to make sure that you're aware that it's a draft. And by the way, in the content tree, you'll notice different iconography for each content type. So there's also a different icon for a live doc as I created. So I need to just find it here, but it basically looks like a page with a little lightning bolt.
With a lightning bolt. Yeah, at the bottom there, you have some untitled pages.
Yeah, there you go.
There they are.
So you can see like these are live docs.
Yes.
And also hover card. See that too.
Yeah, Dave Lyons gets a promotion to be a Confluence PMM because he said in the live chat, live docs are great for collaboration. That's it. You summed it up. Perfect.
And just to show you all something fun, just as a bonus, really, really quickly, if you go to Content Manager as an admin, and let's say you imported a bunch of pages, that's right, a little off script.
Yeah, and you need to have Confluence Premium or above to have Content Manager.
Correct. And let's say you want to move pages from a classic page to a live doc a little faster. Of course, a live demo is always going to take a little longer. Then it's probably just because I have so much content in the page tree. But basically what we've added is also a bulk option. So you can multi-select pages, 2 pages, and convert them all to live docs in one shot instead of doing it one by one.
That's so nice because like a space admin is going to know what are the pages where the team is just collaborating. And like, them because if you look at the page history, there's a million versions because people are just going in, making a small change and publishing the page, right? They're doing that over and over and over again. That's where a live doc comes in. Also, I have heard there is a fairly large percentage of users who are authoring stuff in another tool, and then they're pasting it into a page and publishing that page because they are looking for that truly collaborative, just get in and do it really quickly, I don't have to publish things kind of experience. Is that right, Avi? Was that like, I feel like I've heard that was a pretty big motivator for this decision as well, was to help people just see, oh, I could just do it in Confluence really, really quickly. I think that's so important. Especially like our audience here, y'all are power users. Y'all are doing stuff in the Confluence editor. This is really important for people that are like, I'm going to stick with my word processing tool, and then I'm just going to paste it in because I don't know what this publish button business is. That feels scary to me, right? Y'all are publishing things every day. You're content professionals. High fives to you. One question that we have here, and this is great for what we're going to talk about anyway. Christian wants to know, is there an official path for workflow apps to use LiveDocs? And just in general, like what does support for third-party macros and things look like in LiveDocs? Because I know that was up in the air with the beta.
Yeah. So there's a wonderful PM who's looking at this in a very dedicated way. So that's kind of been through the RFC. So a lot of the third-party apps do have support, and if they don't, then that's the top priority because this is a very kind of high priority content type, as you can see, like showing at the top of the create menu. So yeah, it's something that's extremely top of mind, and you'll notice that most things already work, and whatever doesn't, there's an active plan to make it work ASAP.
Okay, awesome. And that's why a lot of macros now, you don't have to wait until you hit publish on a page to see what the macro is going to do because they just render live in views like this. Somebody asked, is there a suggestion mode in LiveDocs? No, Tammy, not yet, but I will mention it once again. Avi, we would love to be able to, like you can in other word processors, select text and say, change this or add this, but it's just suggestions. It's not comments. You're not making direct changes. You're suggesting changes. That would be so powerful. Would love that.
Absolutely. That's definitely something that's on the team's mind.
So good. To clarify, LiveDocs are part of an open beta, right?
So the open beta we were talking about earlier, we were talking about the floating action bar. So the open beta opt-in, once you get it, will include access to LiveDocs, the floating action bar, and the new content experience, as well as two other things which we'll cover shortly.
Yes.
There's a completely new share dialogue and something that we call presence avatars.
Yes. So admins, you will see two different choices. You can just enable the visual changes and some of the smaller changes that we've seen here, or you can enable the brand new content type, which is LiveDocs, and that also enables all the visual changes. So two options. One is inclusive of the other. I think I used that word the right way. I hope so.
Yep.
Avi, talk to me about that avatar thing that you just mentioned. Real-time avatars, what does that mean?
Yeah, so for pages, which is basically like the good old Confluence pages as opposed to LiveDocs. So this one was a LiveDoc that I converted into a page, right? Has it and everything. You'll notice that this avatar is essentially like a real-time presence avatar. So as people get this page and start viewing it in view mode or publish mode, their avatars will start to show up in real time in kind of like this phase file going horizontally. So as looking at the page, I can actually see who else is viewing it. And if there's more people, I'll see a drop down. And then I can actually kind of see, oh, Matt's on this page, Tina's on this page too. Cool. Like there's a party and I'm aware of it. And there's more people interacting with this, as opposed to feeling like in the past where it's like, as I look on the page, it's just me, which is just not true.
I think this is really awesome. This increases that transparency that we all love about Confluence. Also, for admins, just so you know, if your entire Confluence site or just your Confluence spaces contain content that maybe you don't want this to be demonstrated, like maybe there are some HR-specific pages where maybe you feel people would be uncomfortable if they saw if their colleagues were viewing that page, you can turn this off for your space. So you can turn that off in the workflows and avatars option in space settings. And this is part of that, the visual changes beta. Thank you. Avi, you're doing such a good job keeping up with my rambling. I really appreciate it. Avatars, yes, that's the one. That's the one. All right, y'all, we only have a few more minutes. I'm trying a shorter time format, and I'm hating that because we're going to miss snack time at 10:45, but we got to do what we got to do here. So, one other thing is, well, we've looked a bit at commenting. Could you show me like a page or a live doc where there's a bunch of comments so we could just sort of look at how that whole thread looks in the right panel that you showed?
You'd think I would be better prepared, but
I mean, this is a pretty good example right here.
Yeah, I can kind of give you some examples, and you can also see, like, as I write a page comment, like how everything starts to show up in the comment panel.
So it's all right here as well.
Yes.
And
everything
then what
shows up here.
I feel like I see a filter option up top there.
Yes. So you can filter for open, unread, resolved, top to bottom. And this is what we're calling like general comments. So if I uncheck that, I'll only see the inline comments. If I click on general, then I'll see also the page comments, which we all know and love.
So excellent. I love the filters. So important. Yeah, sorry, Dave, we do not have virtual snacks. I'm working on that. That's not a Confluence feature yet. Trying to get the team's ear, for the important stuff. Barb asked if the homepage is changing with the visual redesign. Like, do the changes to the left bar make significant changes to the homepage? I don't believe so.
No, not necessarily.
Okay, cool. Liz wants to know, can you see in a live doc the changes in the text so that when you come back to it, you can see what's changed? I would guess you would use Atlassian Intelligence there to just ask it to summarize the changes. Is that right, Avi?
You can definitely use summarize changes and see what's happened, for sure. And also, you've got the good old version history, which works the same way. So anything you've done, you can go in. You can even see the switch to live editing come across.
I love that. So good. Yes, using the comment in the page history. Yes, and just so everyone knows, Atlassian Intelligence is only available for Confluence Premium and above. Martin, you asked if there was a way to publish a live page to a page. I think we covered that. That gives you that ability to like draft it up really quickly, collaborate, work with everybody, and then it's like, now this is the page. We don't want accidental edits or whatever the case may be. Yes. And Barb was wondering if you don't have page comments turned on, just inline, can you still use the side panel? Do all those options still work? I would guess so. The filters don't do anything because there's only one kind of comment.
Correct.
All right. We have 5 minutes, Avi, and I would love to see the improvements around sharing because this has been a long time coming, and I'm very excited to see it finally on its way to GA between March 24th, so next week, and March 27th.
Yes, sir. So yeah, there's been a lot of work to simplify what we're calling kind of like the unified share experience. And the cool thing is, like, you used to have restrictions, copy link, access, and all these different things, like kind of broken out across this entire header with like multiple icons, and it's just super, super noisy. So now it's kind of bundled into this single unified experience. So first of all, you can just click on copy link and share it with somebody really quickly, right? If you don't want to go through the entire process. But if you click on share, you'll kind of notice that there is basically like smart suggestions. So you see these people? These are like, honest to God, like, this is one of our principal engineers that I work with the most. This is my designer. And Abhinav, he works very closely with me.
Abhinav is definitely the person you should be sharing this with.
Yeah, so these are smart suggestions which are contextual. And as I start typing, like, it'll know how to do that as well when I add people. John and stuff like that. So John is the guy who's in charge of AI down here, so I can kind of get validation for all that.
Amazing.
And then Also, as far as the restrictions, again, you can make it open, you can make it restricted really, really easily, and you can change anybody's access through either one of these. Again, you can kind of go through the space, etc. Again, copy link, you can connect to Slack, you can make it a public link here really easily. And if you have any feedback through early access, you can just go here and this will go straight to the team. I'm not going to leave the page. Oh, there we go. And last but not least, this experience exists across all content types.
Oh,
Whether you're looking at a page, a live doc, so any one of these, a whiteboard, a database, a log, a smart link, it'll all be the same experience. So it's just predictable and easy to use.
I'm so happy. And that is also will be available in Jira as well, I believe. Or a similar share experience. Or no, maybe it is just content types in Confluence. I guess I shouldn't say just. That is huge. This I have seen like alpha versions of this. I mean, got to be going on a year and a half or 2 years ago. Like the amount of thought that's been put in here. Another thing that's super exciting is that if you restrict a parent content type and then you try to share a child content piece of content, people who are restricted at the parent level can't see that child. And now in this dialogue, it will let you know, hey, these people won't be able to see this because this is restricted. Do you want to change that? Which just that alone, that visibility is huge. That's going to help just like prevent so many headaches that people may have with permissions in a space say, hey, everybody can do this. Restrictions are like, well, everybody can do this, but for this one thing, only these people can do this. And now that removes so much unknown, because when you're sharing, that tends to be when you're also restricting. Restricting is a very purposeful thing because most of what we collaborate on should be open to everybody. So this is where we need to focus on who are we working with, who needs to be able to do what, and who should not be able to do anything, or who should just be able to view. This is so wonderful, and I'm so happy. This will be rolling out in general availability. Thank you for correcting, Tanya. I appreciate it. I used an acronym. Shame on me. Generally available starting next week, which I'm super excited about. We are out of time. I really wanted to talk about the exciting early access program for role-based access control, which will be super exciting, especially when it comes to sharing, because you'll be able to define roles that people have. So rather than saying, I'm sharing with these 6 people, you could say, I'm sharing with anybody who has a quality assurance role, right? Which is something Jira has had for years. That is on its way to Confluence because that is how teams work. And I'm so excited. Oh, look, analytics and the byline. I love that. Avi, thank you so much for joining us and showing us so much in so little time. This is really brilliant. I'm very excited for what Confluence is today, what teams are going to be collaborating in on the daily. It's just brilliant.
Thank you so much again for having me, and we're really, really looking forward to everybody's feedback. There's multiple ways to leave it in the project. Again, floating action bar. We look at everything you write to us very closely and often, and it carries a lot of weight. So your voice matters.
All right. I'm going to say smash that YouTube like button and subscribe, and smash that feedback button because Avi and team want to hear from you. These PMs are crazy. They look at our feedback, literally. Thank you so much, Avi. And now, y'all, thank you for joining. This has been such a nice time. So much to talk about, so little time. We have so much other content on our YouTube channel. Check out that link for our weekly dose of Confluence newsletter. It really is so good and would love to share that with you. And of course, join us again for another live stream, YouTube short, whatever kind of content you need as we continue to explore how to use Confluence to share what you do best.